Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday the 13th. Probably the best alignment of the year. Friday the 13th is synonymous with being related to horror. And then October, obviously, is spooky season. So I think tonight is going to be pretty much on the nose. But if you read the title already, we are doing Friday the 13th.
Friday, the 13th. You may only see it once, but that will be enough.
Friday the 13th. It is a 1980 slasher film. One of the OG slasher films of the 80s to sort of jumpstart that genre of Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, and then later on Pennywise. And it's kind of this Friday the 13th is one of the ultimate slasher films and just slasher franchises, film series. Jason Voorhees is probably the most notable slasher horror villain person, whatever, out there. But if you don't know much about the Friday the 13th original film in 1980, Jason is not even in this movie. He's in it a scene or two, and that's it. So let's get into the cast. So this cast ranges from Robbie Morgan as Annie, Andrea King as Alice Hardy, Jenny Taylor as Marcy Cunningham, and as well as Kevin Bacon as Jack Burrell, a young Kevin Bacon. When I saw this for the first time years ago, I was like, "Oh look, there's Kevin Bacon." I'm very observant, as all. But this film is about a camp, Camp Crystal Lake, the synonymous Camp Crystal Lake, and it is summer. So you have a bunch of kids, teenagers out there living it up, and they're just trying to take in the sun and swim in the lake. But there is a killer out on the loose who is taking a teen one by one, slashing them up, killing them creatively, sticking them on top of things, just being very brutal to them. And spoiler warning, this whole month I haven't done spoilers, but this one I want to do spoilers. Betsy Palmer, the actress, plays Pamela Voorhees. She is Jason's mother who is seeking revenge for the death of her son Jason, who drowned at Crystal Lake. She's out for revenge for the death of her son, and she's taking every kid on sight. She is slashing them up. She is brutal. When we see the reveal, it's like this little old lady is fucking everybody up. Yeah, she has that thing on her. She uses the knife, the classic, Freddy knife and Michael Myers knife and Chucky knife. Everybody has a knife apparently, and it just the I will say the first time I watched it, I didn't know there wasn't going to be any Jason. Yeah, there's a flashback of Jason, but it's not the Jason hockey mask that we know. I was like, "Whoa, I didn't know that. I didn't know this is how the franchise, this great horror franchise, I didn't know it started off with no Jason. I didn't know that. I was very surprised. But I actually think this is just it's very unique if you think about it. To start off a franchise like this with not even having your main slasher star in the first film, it's very unique. And I think the Friday the 13th genre or excuse me, film series can kind of separate itself from other films because when you have Halloween, Michael Myers was the main killer the whole time. Child's Play, obviously, Chucky was the killer the whole time. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface is the main killer. But for Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th, it was his mom. Very, very unique type of slasher take, especially for a genre where Jason is the hockey face. It's his face. He is associated with a date. Whenever it lines up every few years, Friday the 13th. And I think that's just pretty dope. Overall, I think, especially when we get into Steve's character and the officer door, like when we get into the supporting cast, the supporting adults, Bill and Crazy Ralph, I thought their characters were just on the nose, the type of people who would be affected by this. And I just think it's stellar. It's a great 80s movie, very campy type of feel, because it early 80s, so it was right on the tail end of the 70s. So kind of that 70s feel was in it towards certain scenes. But definitely, I think this is a staple. If you want to be a sort of like a horror history buff, you want to do some trivia. I think this is a good piece of trivia that Jason is not in it. He only pops up in two scenes, I believe. And We see why his mother is the way she is. Is it justified? It could be debatable, but that is her motive nonetheless. And in classic fashion, there's a lake scene where Jason is in the lake and there's a jump scare, and voila. But guys, that is pretty much it for Friday the 13th, night 13 for Chris and Ralph Halloween movie recommendations. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. We've been receiving subscribers recently, so I do appreciate the support that we have been receiving. Turn on those notifications because every night we will be uploading a Halloween movie recommendation. So, guys, as always, I'm Chris. I'll catch you next time. Happy Friday the 13th. Peace.